Fire escape engineers, inspector summary video. Inspector Tom Curran, 209 Ashmont Street, Dorchester. External fire escape with cantilever. It has diamond plate treads on the cantilever, new bolts in it. The rail has been rebolted, not rebolted on, still has square bolts in it. Your treads are hex head bolts. Your treads are all hex head bolts. Your channels is in good looking shape. The rails on it, majority of them, there are some hex head bolts, there are some square bolts. There's a bolt hole there with no bolt in it, and some hex bolts. Cantilever has some rust on it, but it's not too bad out of balance. When you trip the release arm, it did go down. Your pintle is supported. Brace there on the wall, you get some tearing, and it comes up, and it is original square bolts. You have your T-angle, which supports tight into the building. All original square bolts still in it. Your brace here still have square bolts in it. Your brace here, you can see some water tearing on it. Cantilever, the channel looks newer than the rail. It's all diamond tread steps, look good. Your two angle supports are buried in the dirt, cannot see any evidence of concrete. They come up, they have been bent. They still have original square hardware. The support there still has original square hardware. It comes down to there. Your intermediate flight has new treads, modern style grading. You can see that they're hex head bolts in them. The rail is welded on and bolted. Your connections for the baby flight are still original square bolts. There's some grading that has had some caulking put in it and repaired. Your release arm, the bracket is a little bit rusty. The white box looks good. You do have hooks on the floor. You can see the braces are here. Still some square hardware up there. Square hardware there, square hardware there to support it. Just tight into the building. Two braces when you walk by are awful low, but it is the way it was made. It is an existing condition. Square bolt. Square bolts. Square bolts. Some rust built up. Square bolts. These gears have square bolts on the clips. But the treads are all hex bolts, so they have been changed. There is some space between the railing and the angle. The railing still has some square bolts in it. Your braces are still square bolts there. Your gears have hex bolts in them and they look good. There is caulking on them. Your railing is still a square bolt, square bolt. The railing looks good. Tied into the building good. You can see a tire X there. The tread has spaces missing in it, but the majority of the spaces look really good in them, or just a couple. The spaces on the floor are starting to go.
Bye.